Hey guys, it's Codiak here, Raid Leader for Exiled Power. Today we'll be looking at the 6th encounter in the Tomb of Sargeras, the Desolate Host. Throughout this video we'll be looking at the fight mechanics, your responsibilities as a DPS, tank, or healer, and discuss execution of the fight from various points of view. To navigate to a specific section of the video, please follow the section breakdown at the top of your screen. Overview. The Desolate Host is a two-phase encounter that takes place in two different realms that inhabit the same encounter area. The Engine of Souls and Soul Queen Dejana share a health pool between the realms. Players will be forced to interact with players from the opposite realms to handle various mechanics throughout the fight. Lust. Lusting at the start of Phase 2, which occurs at 30%, will give your raid team the needed boost to finish the fight. Key abilities. We'll be breaking down this fight based on the individual realms, starting with the Spirit Realm. To enter the Spirit Realm, players will need to click the spiritual fonts placed around the side of the room. The Spirit Realm does not look different from the Corporeal Realm, so check your debuffs to verify that the Spirit font worked properly. At all times, there must be at least one player in each realm. The boss will cast Quietus if left alone in a realm, which will deal increasing damage to the raid. In the Spirit Realm, the Soul Queen will cast Crush Mind on the tank. This is a powerful magic ability. It's best to send your tank with the best magic reduction toolkit into the Spirit Realm due to this ability. The Soul Queen will also cast Soulbind on two players, one from each realm. These two players must move together to remove the binding. It's best to set a designated point at the start of the fight so that players can easily run to a marker rather than a player. Periodically, the Soul Queen will cast Wailing Souls. This minute-long cast does damage to all players in the Spirit Realm. All players within the Spirit Realm should move into the Corporeal Realm except for the tank and a healer or two. Ensure that all adds are dead before moving into the Corporeal Realm. In the Spirit Realm, you'll be faced with the Soul Residue. These adds can be tanked and will leave a patch of soul rot on the ground as they move around the room. These adds can be stunned and slowed, but CC abilities will not work. When the add dies, it will explode, dealing damage and knocking players back. Another add present in the Spirit Realm is the Fallen Priestess. These adds will cast Spirit Chains, which slow a player's movement. Dispel this right away. Fallen Priestess will also cast Shattering Scream. This is an interruptible cast that targets random players. Shattering Scream stacks up to 5 times, exploding after 5 pulses. The explosion from this ability is used to remove the Bone Cage armor from adds in the Corporeal Realm, so it's not always wise to interrupt or kill this add. In the Corporeal Realm, players will be facing the Engine of Souls. Tanks dealing with the engine will have to survive Bone Shards, which deals high physical damage. The tank with the best physical toolkit should remain in the Corporeal Realm. The Engine of Souls will also cast Tormented Cries. Similar to the Soul Queen, this is a minute-long channeled cast. During the cast, individual players will be marked for 5 seconds. After the mark expires, a patch of Shadow Goo will be shot out from the boss to the player in a cone. This will leave a significant patch of Shadow Goo on the ground that will deal ticking damage and silence all players within. Players targeted with the mark want to move towards the extreme ends of the encounter area, but remain slightly spread to avoid stacking the burst of damage. These pools are not permanent and will despawn after 35 seconds. Collapsing Fissure will periodically spawn in the Corporeal Realm. These are merely a nuisance and should be moved out of immediately. There are 2 adds present in the Corporeal Realm. The first is the Reanimated Templar, which casts Rupturing Slam. 3 waves travel out from the add at a 90-degree angle. Players hit by the wave will take damage and will be knocked back. At 50%, Templars receive the Bone Cage armor buff, reducing all damage they take by 95%. Coordinate with your Spirit Realm team and utilize the explosion from Shattering Scream to break the Bone Cage armor. The second add present in the Corporeal Realm are the Ghastly Bone Wardens. These adds are present at the start of the encounter. Their main ability is Grasping Darkness. Players will want to spread out at least 5 yards to avoid spreading this ability to other raid members. At 50%, the Bone Wardens will gain Bone Cage armor and should be handled identically to the Templars by utilizing Shattering Scream. Phase 2 will begin at 30%. The Engine of Souls will transform into the Desolate Host. Players will need to kill the boss as soon as possible before he gains too many stacks of Torment, a damage increasing buff. Before hitting 30%, ensure that all adds are dead. The Desolate Host has 2 abilities, Sundering Doom and Doomed Sundering. This is simply a push-pull type mechanic with players moving into the boss's hitbox or out to the walls based on the ability being cast and the current realm you are in. During Sundering Doom, Corporeal Raiders will want to move in, and the Spirit Realm players will want to move out. During Doomed Sundering, Spirit Realm players will want to move into the boss, and Corporeal Realm players will want to move out to the walls. Tanks. Split up. The tank with better magic reduction should be in the spirit realm, and the tank with better physical reduction should be in the corporeal realm. Use cooldowns to mitigate Crush Mind and Bone Shards, and maintain control over the adds and avoid their various mechanics. Healers. During Wailing Souls, one healer should stay behind to heal the tank remaining in the spirit realm. If targeted with Soulbind, meet your counterpart in the opposite realm at a designated location. Pay attention to players targeted with the Spear of Anguish on the heroic difficulty. These players will have a healing absorption shield that will need to be healed through before they can enter the corporeal realm. DPS. If targeted with Soulbind, meet your counterpart in the opposite realm at the designated location. Avoid all unnecessary damage through the various boss mechanics. Nuke down all adds present in each realm. If a Shattering Scream is needed to break a Bone Cage armor, communicate with the spirit realm and coordinate an attack. At 30%, burn the Desolate Host as fast as possible. Line up cooldowns for the beginning of this phase. Positioning. Due to the heroic mechanic dissonance, you'll want to split the raid into two groups, evenly dividing the room in half. Spirit realm players should move to the left side of the room based on the spawn point of the Soul Priest. Corporeal realm players should stand on the right side of the room. Try and maintain this positioning throughout the fight to avoid confusion and unnecessary splash damage from dissonance. Before the fight, mark a location that is evenly between both sides for players that receive the Soulbind debuff to stack. This will ensure that players from the opposite realms aren't running through the entire raid. Heroic changes. As previously mentioned, Dissonance is a new ability added in the heroic difficulty. This causes all players and enemies to periodically deal damage to all players in the opposing realm if they come within 8 yards of a player or enemy from the opposite realm. Simply split the room and stick to your sides. When dealing with the Shattering Scream's Bone Cage armor combination, players will have to interact with raiders from the other realm. Players should move far away from the adds to avoid extra damage going out to the raid. Sometimes this means holding damage on the Shattering Scream adds, sometimes this means speeding it up. You have to coordinate with your team to execute a strategy. Additionally, the Engine of Soul and Soul Queen each gain a new ability. The Soul Queen will cast Wither, a dot that lasts for 1 minute, increasing damage taken by Wailing Souls by 100%. Players with this dot must not remain in the Spirit Realm during Wailing Souls. The Engine of Souls gains the new ability Spear of Anguish. This ability targets random players in the corporeal realm, and after a brief delay knocks them into the spirit realm. Players caught in the radius of the explosion will also be knocked into the spirit realm. To avoid extra damage from dissonance, players should move to the middle of the encounter area in the buffer zone and explode away from other players. Once a player enters the spirit realm, they will gain a healing absorption shield that needs to be healed up quickly before players can enter back into the corporeal realm by interacting with the spiritual fonts. Final notes. This fight is more intimidating than anything else. Splitting your raid team into 2 even groups and handling an independent set of abilities will stretch your raid team's communication and coordination. On heroic difficulty, this Shattering Scream Bone Cage armor combo will be particularly challenging for most teams to handle. Avoid unnecessary damage and kill adds quickly, and you will defeat the Desolate Host. If you have any questions about this encounter, please leave them in the comment section below. We'd be happy to help you with any issues your team may be having on this encounter. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you've liked this video, please consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. That's all for this video. We'll see you next time.